Welcome to MC Facebook Live in Search of Awesome. And tonight we've got Awesome on steroids. 249th interview. So we've come a long way. Thanks for the memories. My guest tonight is Erin Keller. She is a prodigy of Katie West is the best. And she's an Instagram, I think she's an Instagram hair Jedi because I follow her and I love her work. She is blowing up the level chart. I think that's an understatement. So her first year was 2020. You know, from associate, she gets on the back end of the year as a level 1. She is a level 3, moving at Mach 5 to level 4. And if she does in the next, 9 months, what she's done in the last 3, she is trending. You guys ready for this? To crack a 6-figure income, $100,000 in a W2. That is in her second year. After this conversation, I'm going to go and email Guinness Book of World Record because I can't recall that somebody has really gotten to that place. It just kind of gives you an opportunity as to what kind of age we're in. Digital age with social media, etc. At any rate, Urban Betty, why am I not surprised that we've got another Jedi from Urban Betty, Austin, Texas. My good BFF, bestie, Shelly Neff, thank you for allowing Erin on tonight. And, of course, the summit coach who's been with Urban Betty from the very beginning, Michaela Baskerville. So, as I said, here are her stats. Age 28, still very much into 20-something, level 3. Look at the average ticket is $175. Her haircut price is $61. So you can, those of you that understand the metric, her guests are really involved in the work. So her guests are average ticket is 3 times higher than her base service. So that Summit speaks as, boy, that's Jedi to like the 4th or 5th power. Average day just over 600, cruising at around 8, 9, 10 referrals a month. Trending at triple-digit referrals, so you know what that means. The combination of the quality of her work, as well as what she's doing on social media, is making that work for her. Look at that, rebooking at 90%. So there's something incredible that's going on there. RTS is at 20. As I said last year, 30. She will trend to crack 100 this year. So you can see why I decided to bring her on tonight. I don't want to get in the way of her story because her story is amazing. But her timeline is graduates from high school in 2010, does a couple of years of college and some retail before she gets excited about, she relocates. She's originally from Mississippi, so she moves to Austin, starts with beauty school. I let her get into the details. Meets Katie West, 2019, and the rest is history. Urban Betty Salon, and it's big, making big boom. Knowing what I know, if I'm you, I would be following her on Instagram. I absolutely love how she's kind of crafted her I'm going to call it her online Instagram learning channel. It's amazing. You can find her at Killer Hair by Erin. And the rest is history. All right, so you know how we roll around here. She's in my green room. I'm going to bring her out, going to get her talking about her life a little bit, and then really going to get her talking about what the secret sauce. What is she doing to be getting that kind of result? So we're going to go back there. Maybe the Wi-Fi gods will be nice to us tonight. It looks like they might. Keep your fingers crossed, you guys. There is Erin on mute. Erin, you're going to make her feel welcome. Hi, Erin.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I've just been really looking forward to tonight because you're in a real special place, an extraordinary place, and I'm so excited to have you here and meet my community and have them share with you your experience and what it is you're doing to get the kind of results you're getting. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, I always like to start with the story. The stories become, after a couple hundred or so interviews, one of my favorite parts, and I just love your story. So let's start with, who are you? And how did you get from wherever it is you came from to UB, Urban Betty?
Yeah. It took me a while to get here. And I'm grateful for that journey. There's times where I kicked myself because I wish I would have gone to cosmetology school right out of high school. But my path led me to where I am today. So I'm grateful for that. But I graduated high school, went straight to a 4-year university because that's what was encouraged by my parents. I changed my major probably 5 different times before I realized there was nothing there to fulfill me. So I dropped out and started working in retail. I did a lot of merchandising, styling, all of that kind of good stuff. Still not really feeling fulfilled. I made the leap to move to Austin, which I'm so glad I did. I signed up for cosmetology school immediately. Straight from cosmetology school, I went to another salon and wasn't getting 100% out of it. And then I've heard of Urban Betty just from the amazing reputation and thought I'd, get my guts together and apply. And I met the wonderful Katie West, who has been my inspiration from day one of meeting her. And yeah, it's been a long journey, but I finally got here.
Oh yeah. I love the part, and that was a big move from growing up in Mississippi. You do some college, and then you decide to go from Mississippi to Austin, Texas. Why Austin? What was it about Austin that inspired you to? Could have been anywhere.
I don't know. And I had never even been to the state of Texas till the day I moved to Austin. So it was just it was a whim. It really was. I packed up and moved in 2 weeks, and I've loved it ever since the first second I've arrived. I mean, every day it's like a dream. I'm like, I love it here so much.
Did you come by yourself, or did you bring someone with you to?
Yeah, I came with my boyfriend and our dog.
Oh wow. Okay, so yeah. The 3 of you started the next chapter in Austin, and if I was listening correctly, you did beauty school in Austin rather than Mississippi.
Yes, and I'm really grateful that I did too, because I'm not sure that I would have gotten the same education in Mississippi that I got here in Austin. So yeah, I'm grateful that I actually waited and did it here.
Well, there's always this part in the story, and I know it's happened to you, where whatever path we're on, like you said, you got off to a let's call it a less than perfect start wherever it was you went. But here we are now. You're going to more than triple your income this year. So something had to happen to cause this profound pivot. I call it, you had a little bonfire going, and there's big glob of nitroglycerin. What was that OMG? What was that turning point?
It was honestly, I was not feeling fulfilled. I'm very heavily driven by happiness, and I've known even since I was a little girl that I've always wanted to do hair. So feeling like, I didn't have that, it felt like there was an emptiness inside of me. So being able to finally stand up and be like, it's okay if my parents disapprove of the path that I'm going to take. I have to do it because I think that that's what's best for me, and that's what's going to make me happy. And I don't regret it. I'm so happy that I did that because I've found fulfillment. And I was really scared of disappointing them by choosing a career path that they didn't necessarily want for me. Just gaining the guts to do what I want to do. That was a huge moment for me.
Oh yeah. Well, and I can imagine, because I know the story. So our parents from our family of origin have kind of a predisposition as to where we're going because they want that for us. You're going to college, all of a sudden you pivot and say, no, not only am I not going to do this, I'm going to do something that I've always wanted to do, and no, wait, there's more. I'm going to relocate. I'm going to move to Austin. I'm going to go to hair school there. You graduate, and then you go to a place, and it's less than you thought. So I can only imagine the confusion, the fear, the stress. It's like, oh, okay, what happened here? But you see Urban Betty, you pivot, and the rest is history.
Right.
So and I think the universe probably had her hands in your life here somewhere. But you meet Katie West, and I know Katie West, and we also had some other Madison on tonight watching you too, giving up some love to you. But what was it about working at Urban Betty and with Katie that really, it's almost like you got slingshotted?
It's really kind of strange because for me, my personal experience, the second I met Katie, like I knew, like this is where I need to be. This is the girl that's going to teach me the things that I need to know. It was an instant feeling, and I felt like since day one we just hit it off, and we worked so well together. I took every single moment and was not only like observant of her, but very absorbent as well. And I said that kind of during our interview too, that I'm like a sponge. Like I just like to take in all the information around me. And she had so much to give. Just listening to her, like talk to her clients and like all of that. Like, I mean, I took away so much more knowledge than I could even begin to explain. It's really kind of surreal how perfectly it kind of worked out for me.
Yeah, and as you know, as we were preparing for your interview, I got a sense that even when you look at the vision of the future, whether it's a year from now, 2, 3 years from now, you're kind of looking at the trajectory that she's on, and you're adopting that as your path as well. So you really are, the relationship that you have there is extraordinary. Now, when you and I chatted a couple months ago, and this was even before you're on the trajectory that you're on, you used this term about the struggle bus. I want to get off of the struggle bus and get on the path to abundance. And boy, from the outside of your life looking in, the struggle bus, I can't see it there. It looks like you've got like a spaceship that's going at the speed of light. How has this changed you? Like you're in a place now that like light years ahead. What different than where you were even 3, 4, 5 months ago? Have you kind of caught up with that yet?
I really don't think that I have, honestly. Because even when we did talk a couple of months ago, I still was kind of trying to get off the struggle bus. I mean, I had really just kind of hit the ground running, and it feels surreal. Like I like the kind of pinch yourself. Is this really real? Kind of surreal feeling. So I haven't quite caught up to it yet, but I mean, it's been incredible not to struggle to have to pay my bills every single month, because that was always a thing, like living paycheck to paycheck and just struggling to scrap by. And I mean, it feels like a huge relief to not have to struggle like that so much.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've still got so much further to go, of course, but I mean, it really is surreal.
Yeah, I love it. It's like you go from having way too much month at the end of the money, right? Enter the struggle bus. All of a sudden, whoa, I got a whole bunch more money than I do month. And, that's a new experience. It's like it kind of blows the sides off of our brain box, and you're kind of catching up to it now, it sounds like. And then you and I were chatting kind of about where do you go from here? What's the future hold? And one of the points that you made was, well, I'm really going to stay awake with this difference in my income and use that to vaporize some of the debt that goes with finding a life. Talk about that piece.
Totally. Yeah, I've got just like a lot of others, I've got a lot of debt. I've got car notes to pay off. I've got medical bills. I've got school loans. So I've racked up a good, about $30,000 in debt. So the idea of being able to eliminate that sooner rather than later is an incredible feeling.
So yeah, I would, and $30,000 sounds like a lot, but when you're in a 6-figure income, you pay attention to kind of not allowing our livelihood or our lifestyle to get far ahead of us, that there's a lot of surplus. It would not surprise me if you weren't out of debt by the end of 2021, 30,000, you're going to be within striking distance. And some people, it takes them, a number of years to retire 30,000. 30,000, it's substantial.
Yeah, it was my W2 last year.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Your W2 last year is equal to how much debt. So what a great story that I'm going to have you, I'm going to keep an eye on you because I have a feeling you're going to be in another category called the behind the chair millionaire, right? So that if you kind of
I hope so.
Oh my God. So that's another conversation. We'll get there in a second. We got a few minutes left, and I want to get you talking about, the kind of the tutorial part of the conversation. There's a number of people are going, okay, but how'd she do that? Like, how do you go from 30 to 100? Like, what's your secret sauce? What is she doing to move that quickly? How do you answer questions like that?
When you first asked me this question, I really didn't know how to answer it when we had our first conversation. And it took a little bit of reflecting afterwards to kind of realize what my secret sauce really is. With a mixture of like how I work my social media, also how I make my connections in person with my clients has been pivotal. Really educating them. Education is like the key. Educating myself so that I can educate them better. So I'm huge on education. I love learning, and I also love teaching. Being able to tell your clients things about their own hair that they didn't even know is incredible. They love to hear it, and it keeps them coming back. You're honest and you have those like conversations with them about why their hair is the way it is, or how to properly shampoo. There's just several things out there that people have never even heard before, and educating them, it gets them to pre-book because they trust you. It gets them to buy those products because they believe that they need them because you're being honest about it. So I've really noticed those clients that I spend that extra time with, like teaching them those tiny little things, even if it's just like how to hold a curling iron. It makes them trust you because they say, oh, this person's really here for me. And then they want to come back to you.
Yeah, I've asked that question many, many times, and I've gotten an answer that's similar, but not like the answer you're giving tonight. So if I had to give you back what I heard you say is, first of all, I educate myself. I really do. I sit, and whether it's online or whatever, but as I'm getting educated to level up my own skill, I'm also translating the content I'm getting so that I can pass that on in real time to the guest in my chair. Because it sounds like the stuff you're teaching them is blowing their mind. They're back there going, oh my God, no one's ever shown me this or said this to me. And while we've heard that thousands of times, you really are taking it to a whole new level.
Yeah, and I really do hear that all the time. Like, people are like, wow, no stylist has ever told me that before. And then it kind of blows my mind. I'm like, wow, nobody's ever told you that before. But I think that people get in kind of a routine of just doing the hair that they forget to really communicate about it. And they want to know, like, people don't really know a whole lot about their own hair, and they want to know these things. And I've found that I've been able to make better connections by teaching them.
Right. Yeah. Again, you don't take anything for granted. That you really give them the benefit of the doubt to teach them. And like, as I was reading some of how you were catching me up to you, there's a number of times as you're tutoring, teaching your guests, they're going, wow, that's really helpful. That's like really helpful. No one's ever shown me this. Whatever this is, whether it's a technique or even the technique of using a product in combination with what you're doing with an iron or whatever it is. And that is a mind-blowing experience, it sounds like, for your guest. And because of that, that's driving a lot of the KPIs that you're getting. So
Definitely.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about is, I follow you, as you know. What are you doing? Like, I looked at your highlights, and in one of your highlights, you've got a tutorial on booking. and
Yeah.
how you book. You're actually teaching the guest, and I believe, in a slide here coming up, you're even talking about virtual consultation, I think.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that inspiration from, and what kind of result is this getting you?
Yeah, I 100% got that from Katie West. That is straight from her books, and it's one of the best tips I've ever gotten. Eliminating that in-salon consultation gets them in the doors so much quicker. We can chat about exactly like what your hair goals are. We exchange photos. They send photos of, their hair, and then hair inspiration photos of what they want their hair to look like. And then we chat about their hair history a little bit, and then we make a game plan together, and then we can set it all up over Instagram. And by the time they come in for their appointment, we're ready to go.
Yeah. So, I mean, what you're saying here is so new that it's almost like the industry is trying to catch up with this new thing called virtual consultation. And to the degree that a hairdresser doesn't understand it, they minimize it. It's making it fall short, where you're saying there's an experience now that you're giving your guest before they even book or show up. That experience is motivating them to book, not cancel, not no-show, show up, and the actual, what we used to call, the real-time consultation is pretty much now kind of confirming what we're going to do, because we got that consultation handled before you set your appointment. And we're calling that virtual because you can do it online. What are you using to do the virtual? Are you using Instagram direct message? Are you FaceTiming? Like, what's that look like?
Yeah, I mostly do Instagram direct messages. I've FaceTimed with a few people. I certainly never mind FaceTiming, but I find that most people are more comfortable with just sending photos as opposed to a face-to-face FaceTime. But in a world where technology is constantly advancing, we kind of have to catch up with it. And people feel comfortable, especially today, doing those consultations in their own home. It's super easy too. You just have to know what questions to ask. And it's kind of the same as you would do an in-person consultation. You're just chatting about it over DMs.
And it sounds like now virtual consultations, pre-visit virtual consultations, have really become part of your daily modem of operandi. It's how you roll, if you will. How many virtual consultations would you say you do in any given week, a typical week?
A week, a minimum of 5 in a week, I would say. There's days where I get like 4 at a time, and then there's some days where I won't get any for a few days, but I'd say in 1 week, at least 5.
And I know that Katie was really one of the first of the innovators. Like her, are an innovator. You're not only the first to do something, you kind of you're the creator of it, and you take it through the learning curve so that other people can kind of watch, right?
Yeah.
And she actually was showing me actual text messages on Instagram, like active conversations between her and her guest, and what that, like, minute by minute or message by message, how it builds. Do you have that? Is that kind of sort of how you roll?
Yeah, that's exactly how I do things. I don't know. Do you want me to pull something up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you want to, do that now, if you can, quickly. And then what you can do is take some screen grabs of it, text it to me, and I'll repost on my page so that people can actually see the anatomy of an Erin virtual consultation. This is, by the way, gang, we did not rehearse this at all, so you can see what Erin's doing now. She's inside of her mobile, going on her direct message on Instagram to find a couple of examples of what an active virtual consultation conversation looks like digitally on a platform like not only Instagram, but Instagram direct message. It's very organic. It's very, very simple. And it is powerful. It's become the new normal And while she's finding it, Salon Emotion now has created L'Oreal Salon Emotion program. The virtual consultation is a formal part of their process. They've actually moved the consultation from where it was to before the appointment. It's done online so that when you come in for the appointment, you confirm. Were you able to find something?
Yeah, I sent you two. This one's really cool because the girl who messaged me had already seen my story highlights, so she already knew exactly what to send me. I get a lot of that. People just go ahead and send their hair history, what they want, all the photos, and it makes it super easy to go from there.
All right, so I'm going to hold this up, and then I'll repost it on my page. So what this happened is, Erin just actually found some content on her direct message, texted it to me in real time, and I'm showing it to you. It looks like that's a picture of her guest, and it says, "Howdy, Erin. Lauren Cosby is my roommate, and you've been absolutely slaying her hair lately, and I'd really love to book with you, but I wanted to make sure that I selected the right thing. I have a lot of hair with a lot of different texture, color, etc., and definitely want to cut and go blonder, but I'm not afraid of keeping a little warmth and root. I'd love your advice." And it looks like she took a selfie, right? And then she also, you sent me another screen grab, and that looks like, oh yeah, she actually took, where'd she get that content? That looks like the way she wants her hair to look. Did she, is that your work that she took off your grids, or is that she?
Oh, that's her inspiration photo. I actually have her coming up on my schedule, I think this Saturday.
Well, and so that's the inspiration picture, and is that like just kind of a randomly placed picture on another platform that she was looking and found and said, "Can you do that?"
Yes.
Got it. And it says, there were all taken today in different amounts of sunlight. I tend to pull a little bit of strawberry-ish. So this is kind of like an anatomy of how your virtuals go.
Definitely.
And so it sounds like there's a lot of the communication that's happening in virtual that now you don't have to have that communication in real time in a consultation. And you're saying you actually get more handled in a virtual because the client feels safer.
Yeah, you also save time too. So if you're somebody that's concerned about booking your time and time management, which I'm a super time management kind of person, I'm always trying to squeeze in the most I can. So that eliminates, at least 15 minutes out of an appointment time where we would normally be chatting about these things in person. You knock out a whole entire step. So by the time they arrive, you can just refresh, make sure you're on the same page about everything and get going.
Well, here's the $1 million question. How much time do you invest in the virtual, and then how much time do you think it saves in real time because you don't have to do this long, deep, comprehensive consultation that's already been done? Have you kind of monitored that to get a sense?
Yeah, I would say I probably spent about 5 minutes DMing with them, which is pretty incredible, especially if you take somebody like the one who I just showed you, who she went ahead and sent me those photos. I didn't even have to ask for them because they'll check out my Instagram first. They'll click on the highlights. They see what they need to send me and they go ahead and do it. So it knocks out so much time. And then in person, I would say, do you have any inspiration photos? And then I have to sit there and wait for them to pull them out. So, it's a lot more time to do it in person. Surprisingly, a lot more time.
What do you think that 5 minutes in a virtual, what do you think it saves you in consultation time? Are we talking 10 minutes?
I'd say probably 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh,
just
wow.
Yeah.
And it sounds like when they book, they show up. You're not being no-showed. When they book at a higher ticket because through the virtual, they went from, I thought I wanted a haircut, and I do, but I wanted color, but I want even more color after this. So you don't need to spend a lot of time, selling time.
Yeah.
That all
Also,
went away.
Yeah, it also can like help you kind of filter out, for people who have budgets and maybe you price quote them at the because a lot of people want the price quote before they come in. So if they're scheduled for an appointment, you sit down and you give them that price quote and they're not prepared to pay for that. If that's something y'all would have had a virtual consultation about, then you would not have an appointment wasted because they would have realized that ahead of time.
Got it. Yeah, and I think there's something about a virtual consultation that is you're kind of going back and forth, the value that you're building, that under normal circumstances, they might not invest at. They would have too much sticker shock.
Mm-hmm. And I think in the moment, like in person, they almost get nervous about it. But when they're not in person, they can genuinely have time to think about it, as opposed to being right there in person. And they're like, oh my gosh, I have to make a decision right now. That's not really the case over a virtual consultation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving this conversation because it's so new. The virtual consultation is very, very new. And I would guess that 1 or 2% of hairdressers are using this now. The other 98%, they're kind of watching the 1 or 2% because it looks creepy to them, only because it's way outside of the box. But this is coming, and it looks like it's a much smarter way of playing the, whatever you want to call it, the dance between you and your guest. It's working out for them, it's working out for you, and you can make a lot more money with less stress.
Yeah. It's also something that, I was actually uncomfortable with it the first time I did it because I don't love social media. It's something that I've struggled to really get on top of, and I'm still learning. And when I first started doing my first few virtual consultations, I was super nervous, especially the first FaceTime one, because I was meeting a stranger over FaceTime and that was new to me. But it's so much easier once you break the ice and do it that first time. Every single time after that's a breeze.
Yeah, it sounds like
anybody's scared. I'm like, just break the ice.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's almost like when you took the call it the giant leap of faith, right? You kind of took the leap. The experience that you had was surprising to you. It was like, not only is this not dangerous, it's brilliant. You kind of like take to it like a duck to water. I call it. You land on your feet and you hit the ground running and you go, whoa, I just went from trying to take a tree down with a hammer to I now have a high-powered chainsaw, and this is so much easier and better. And now, like you said, it's part of your secret sauce.
Yep, definitely.
Well, listen, we are running way over. I never run this over, but this conversation, this part of it, I think was so important because virtual consultations are here to stay, and I think innovators like you are really kind of plowing the road, the path for other people to get on it. They're going to go, okay, wait, I don't want to be the first on. I'll be kind of a late adopter, and I'll let the Erins of the world and the Katies of the world kind of figure this out. I'll wait for them to create the interstate. I don't want to jump on a rocky path right now.
Totally.
So before I say goodnight to you, promise me you'll come back for an encore.
Oh, I would love to.
And what I'm thinking about is I just have a funny feeling that as this thing continues to grow, you're going to add another intention to what's next for you. In addition to cleaning up debt and more education, you're going to go, okay, I'm 20-something. I'm going to spend the next 10 years really crushing it. But at the end of the 10 years, I want to have something substantial to show for it. And I want it to go beyond, a great house and a great car. I mean, I get that. I want to have wealth. I want to have financial security. And as you know, I'm engaging hairdressers in this conversation around behind the chair millionaire. And I think you're a poster child for it. I want to stay close to you. And if what I think is happening is really happening, I'd like to bring you back and engage you in that conversation.
I look forward to it.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much. It was just a great conversation. We're going to give it up for Erin Keller one more time. Have a great evening. Say hi to all my besties at UB, will you?
I will.
All right, stay well. Wow, give it up for her. You guys? I want to make sure that you really got what because I'm taking the virtual consultation piece is really her secret sauce. I mean, when you really look at the triple-digit tickets that she's getting and the referrals and the rebooks, I think it's the combination of how she's created her Instagram page. It's almost like it's an online website now that gets people kind of jazzed up. She does. They're DMing back and forth. She used that term, and the rest is history. So what's happening, and what I'm doing is I'm pairing up my iPad to make a point, and that is, as this stuff is happening, her income, she's blew up her income from 30,000 to 100,000. That's called give yourself a raise to the 10th power, and she's doing that primarily. When I say primarily, large in part from virtual consultations, social media. That's not a new conversation to you. But what I love about this is right now she's going to nuke, you mark my words, $30,000 in personal debt in the same year that she triples her income. I'm going to say that again. Erin Keller is going to, in the same year that she triples her income, she's going to retire $30,000 in debt, which was her W-2 income last year. That's what's possible when you get on this mindset. She called it the struggle bus, getting from the struggle bus to about, I call it, way down here, I call it, broke as a joke, right? Or the struggle bus. And she now is at the top of the curve, 4 diamond, going for it. I want to make sure that you got that piece as well, because if you don't get that piece, you're gonna blow up your income, but you're not. You want to have more to show for a tripling of income than a nice car. I mean, and this is great. And nice cars are great, and a nice home, and a nice home is great. You want to be a millionaire, and she at 28. I would bet you that if what is I think is happening to happen to her, she's going to be there probably, if not mid-30s, late 30s. And so that's why I want to have her back. So great show tonight. I want to make sure that if you're hanging out with us, you're on Michael Cole Summit. If you Google Michael Cole Summit, it's going to bring you to all the places on the internet that I live. So tonight you happen to be on the Michael Cole Summit Facebook page, and we use Facebook Live as a learning channel to teach you what you're going to need to learn to really be able to survive and thrive in a beauty business, which, by the way, has probably changed 10 years in the last year. It took us 10 years to get through 2020. It's probably going to take us another 10 to get through 2021. We happen to be in a global pandemic, just in case you haven't heard. So a lot of changes digitally. We're communicating digitally more so than ever. And this is the channel you want to be on if you want to learn not only how to survive, but how to thrive. Learning on, I want to do well. I mean, she tripled her income in a pandemic. Come on. And she's going to build massive wealth. She will be a millionaire. That's what you're on to tonight. Michael Cole Summit is where I live on Instagram. If you go there now, you're not going to find me. My page got hacked. I got nuked. I'll get it reinstated by Instagram in the next few weeks. But it is what it is. And we will. But in the meantime, if you go to Michael Cole YouTube, all of the content that we record tonight lives there as well. We will edit this conversation down to like a 3-4 minute interview, and that'll live on my YouTube channel as well. That's why it's important that you hang out in more than one space. And I also have two other places on the internet. Michael Cole Next on TikTok, and the work there is a little bit different. And then I'm just debuting Michael Cole Next on Instagram. So go there. You'll see that the stuff there is a bit more profound. There's a depth in it, some transformation. So I'd love to have you there. I'm doing some way cool work on summit365.com. It's a .com. It's a subscription site where I produce production value video, meaning that the quality and the stuff that we're talking about there is creme de la creme. I'm in the middle of a massive project. Top 20 Wellness is there. We've got our first of about 7 programs, and each program has about 4 or 5 modules. And we were working on that this morning. I actually put some of that content on my Michael Cole Discover the Power of Private Community page on Facebook. So if you remember that, take a sneak peek. But go there. That's where I'm putting the creme de la creme content. So again, it's SummitSalon365.com. On our websites, you can see all the other materials that we have, kind of the traditional analog tapes and books that you can, but our coaching has changed. That we are now more so than ever online coaching. Probably 50-60% of the Summit Salon coaching services are happening online, Zoom. If you're new to us, schedule a 30-minute complimentary virtual consultation. We practice what we preach, and we would be more than happy to show you what's possible virtually. Katie West is in that faculty as well. So lots of cool stuff to talk about there. I won't waste your time. You'll notice that every time I show up with a tattoo. I have a nonprofit.com, mctattoos.com, some really cool stuff. And all of the proceeds there go to, I do a lot of philanthropic work, showing up with my time, my talent, and my treasure for children's literacy. Young children, kindergarten, preschool, first, second grade, in the that are impoverished. I grew up very, very impoverished, struggled with the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic. And proceeds here go to a program called Believe and Read. It's off the chart. So it's a good cause. And the other is I do a lot of, give a lot of my time, talent, and treasure to people that are in recovery from addictions. And there's a center called Retreat 12. So all of the proceeds here go there, so it's for a good cause, and there's some really cool swag in there. So I'll leave that to you. Always like to end the program by thanking, we are powered by Salon, L'Oreal Professional, PPD, and now L'Oreal Salon Emotion. There it is. This is all of their brands. Salon Emotion now has become a primary sponsor of the work that I do. I would say I'm powered by L'Oreal Salon Emotions. And here are their brands. Got Biolage, Pulp Bride, Kerastase, Purology, L'Oreal Professional, Redken, Matrix, Shoe, Mazzani, and again, Salon Emotion. So thank you to them that because they support us in the way that they do, we're able to bring this kind of experience to you on the internet. Please support them. Carry their lines. Get your clients to use their lines. Urban Betty, who is where Erin is from, and Katie is from, and Madison is from, and they're very much a L'Oreal partner, and because of that support, it's just all works. It's for the good of all in harmony. So thank you, L'Oreal Professional. Thank you, Salon. Summit Salon Business Center. If you haven't been to Summit yet, go to Summit. Talk to us, because this is really what you're plugging into. So, great night tonight. Ran way over, but it was worth every minute. And we will be, actually I'm doing 2 shows next week. On Monday, we're going to do the Behind the Chair Millionaire. And I'm going to be interviewing the next hairdresser that's behind the chair with a 7-figure net worth. And then we will have a guest on Thursday Night Live as well. So great show tonight. You guys keep going. Marty Van Wagner, I always love it when you hang out with me. You young me down. So I'll see you all guys later. Have a great evening, and love you all. Godspeed.